Coach's Corner this week, we are joined by the head football coach of the Wahama White Falcons, head coach James Toth. Coach, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
You guys have had a great start to your season following what happened a season ago. We'll talk about that here in a second, but just kind of walk us through and give our audience a little bit of the lay of the land with this team. What stood out to you guys through the first half of the season leading into the second half?
Well, we felt like up until probably last week, we felt really good about our situation, our offensive line. Most of them coming back, we felt like that was going to be our strong point. Our quarterback back, we felt like we had the ingredients to be another contender. But last week, I felt like we may have taken a step back physicality-wise. However, having said that, we're pleased to be 6-0 in the position we are. We feel like that we do have a chance to maybe be in Charleston. It's something that we do talk about, and we'd love to have a chance to get back.
Talking about just those conversations that you have during the course of the season, how much of that is motivation compared to just keeping them laser focused on what's going on?
The motivation part this year has been much more than last year. Last year it was about, like you said, keeping them focused. This year, for whatever reason, I've had a little bit more apathy, and so I've had to try to motivate, and I guess I'm from the Bill Parcells school, is that you motivate different players differently depending on what buttons you need to push. But we have had that situation, and so I spent yesterday beginning of practice talking about certain things and trying to motivate certain people to be better players and what my expectations were with them into reference to where they are but where they can be.
In regards to motivation, I mean, as a coach, how has that kind of evolved as time has gone on? I know when I speak to other coaches, they talk about how the evolution of kids have changed, but just from your perspective, how do you go about motivating your kids? Is it a lot more nonverbal compared to verbal? What goes into that?
It's you have to tell them the why. Today's kids have to know why we're doing what we're doing. They have to understand the vision that you have of what they can be. Used to it was a yes sir, no sir kind of society with high school kids, and it's not like that today. There's so many other things that kids can do for their interests. So number one, I've got to sell myself. I've got to sell the program. It's got to be something they want to do, and then once we get them to buy in, we've got to get those guys to buy in 100%. And we talk a lot about doing the things that are necessary to be successful that people don't really want to do or don't want to. It's the hard things to do. It's real easy to come out here and to be on there on Friday night, but are you going to pay the price in the off season? Are you going to be in the weight room? Are you going to do the things necessary to make yourself the best version or best football player you can be?
How does this group gel together? I mean, obviously you come off a state title winning season last year, undefeated, I should say. Now coming into this season, how do you kind of keep your team moving forward and try and aim for back-to-back state titles?
Well, for us, the main thing was the status quo, meaning that we needed to build upon what we had done last year. We felt we had a really good offensive line coming back, and our quarterback was back. And then there were pieces of the puzzle in Reason Stitt and transferred Trayvon Bears, who we felt like would make us a really good football team. Thus far, that's happened. Are we where I want us to be? No, but I feel like the gelling part is coming together. They're a close bunch. They're a good group of kids. We've got to turn it up physicality-wise a notch or two in order to play with the big boys, and I'm hoping to see that.
Outside of just winning another state title, what's this group's ceiling in your opinion?
Well, I feel like the ceiling is really, really high. They're really good football players. They're focused. They're good athletes. I think the ceiling is such that we can be as good as we were last year. We're not there right now. It's getting better every week, doing the things necessary to get better. We have on our door that success is rented. It's not owned. The J.J. Watt situation, and if we keep getting better, I think our ceiling is that we can be a really good football team and be there in Charleston. If we don't, or if injury bug would get us, we're not deep enough to withstand the wrong injuries at the wrong time.
Go back to what you said a couple minutes ago about the why with these kids. What do you think that originated from? Because just looking over the test of time, you see things kind of, the ebbs and flows with things that you well know as a coach can occur. But why do you think that's more so now with the why?
I think because kids have access to so much information, both media, television, internet. I think that our kids are more advanced and they have to know the why, because they usually do in their everyday lives. They know the why. What this is why we're doing this. So this is a carryover from our society as to what they would expect. I tried the old school stuff. I've tried we're going to do it my way, and not really, but I can't seem to get them to buy in, because if I want effort, if I want those guys to do their very best, I have to explain, guys, this is why we're doing it. This is where we can be, and if we will do it this way, we'll be a better football team.
Talk about your identity this year. Just looking at your all statistics, you guys have rushed for well over 2,200 yards on the ground, but that's where you guys were last year. You guys were really a run-heavy team a season ago. Just from a statistical perspective, when you win like what you guys did last year, do you kind of go back to that same formula of what got you guys there? I mean, what goes into that?
Well, we're a gun tee team, meaning that we're shotgun wing tee, which is a combination of the old wing tee and a little bit of spread. I would like to be able to pass the ball more efficiently than we have this year and even last year. But we have to do what works. I feel like that our passing game is evolving, but the reason we're so run heavy right now is our offensive line is so strong. I've got 3 kids who are almost 300 pounders, 290 guys who are really strong and good athletes. My tight end is a 3-year starter, and he's heavily involved in our run game. So as much as I would like to probably be a 50-50 run-throw team, right now we're having success running the ball. Part of that is our quarterback, Trey Simpkins. He got hurt in the first game against East Hardy, and because of that, he had to sit out up until the Wirt County game. So he's a little rusty, but I feel like that our passing game, or the evolution of our passing game, is vital to our success once the playoffs come.
Talk to me about your offensive line. You talked about how you bring back a lot of experience from that group after last season. What stood out to you about the growth from that group, from where we were at this point last season to where we are this season?
Well, 2 of those guys are 4-year starters. Elijah Hicks, who was a first-team All-Stater returning, and can't remember his name. Sorry. Elijah Hicks and Tegan Scott are 4-year starters. Jake Roberts is a 3-year starter. So we're in the same system. They're big kids. They know what's expected of them. We're one of those teams that will flop our line from strong side, quick side. And so even though the formations are different, the play may be a little different, they're basically being asked to do the same things. So anytime you do that repetitiously, I think you get better. And then they know each other. Our offensive line coach, Coach Clace, lets them know what they're supposed to be doing and how they're supposed to be doing it. And technique can't be overlooked. I mean, if you don't have proper technique, low guy wins kind of thing, you're not going to be very good, no matter how big you are.
Just hearing you just talking collectively about this group, you bring back a lot of experience, a lot of older guys this year. Do you kind of sense a little bit of a sense of urgency that they want to end on a high note since they won it last year? They want to end on that high note, trying to win back-to-back state titles?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, the kids that are seniors this year have collectively never lost a regular season game. I think we're going into, 36 straight now. So that kind of success and those type of expectations. I was really concerned last year with the fact that we had never been to Charleston as a group. And so people say, well, is it a good thing that you got there? And I'm like, yeah, because we know that we can, and we know once we get there what to expect. And so meaning that those expectations of what's expected here and the standard that is set, I talked about that yesterday in our pre-practice about how, there's been guys walk through this locker room who have set the tone, and either you're upholding that standard or you're not. And I think that it's important to understand that the standard is here and the expectation is here, and that's what they've got to do to be successful.
You talked about getting to Charleston. Let's kind of touch briefly about that. Biggest takeaway from that. First time in well over 2 decades, state football championships have been back in Charleston from being in Wheeling. What was your takeaway just in regards to the environment, the week that you guys had? all that stuff, all those different tangibles. Give me your thoughts on it returning to Charleston.
Great environment, great venue. Couldn't ask for a better day, a better venue in December. Really liked Laley Field. I liked the treatment of our team by the committee who brought it back. I felt like that it was very professional, very well done. I thought Metro News did an excellent job. I felt like that I was glad because of the close proximity to our school, the fact that we're playing in Charleston as opposed to Wheeling, and I, in the future, would hope that it would stay in Charleston. That's the kind of thing that the SSAC decides, but it was a great experience for our kids, for myself, our school, and so I'd love for it to stay there.
I always love asking smaller school questions or smaller program questions. This question, and that is the community support. Talk about that with the community support in your time being here. How valuable has that been for you guys, just in regards to growing more and more as a program as the years have gone on?
So I can't say enough about community support. I'm very, very fortunate in that this community likes football and they like good football and they're knowledgeable and they support us. Growing up in Logan County and being a man hillbilly, I kind of experienced that as a player playing for Tootie Carter. But having it now in this program here and being the head coach makes it such that I see other schools and other teams that are much bigger than us not have the fan base traditionally that we have. I've been to a lot of home or away games this year, and we've had just as many people there as the home team. So it's kind of become a tradition that right now we're successful and the people are supporting us. You can't say enough about that kind of advantage and that kind of support because, if it's a close game, that kind of atmosphere, you feel like you're on the road, but guess what? We got our guys here. We got our people here.
You talk about the advantages with just having a community support, but also you have a huge advantage on the gridiron, having a really good runner in Reason Stitt. You mentioned how before we started doing this, he didn't start last year because he had Connor Lambert ahead of him. How much help do you think that was for him, seeing Connor, seeing what he was able to do on the field, and trying to not really duplicate what he did, but try and mirror what he did and put his own twist on it?
Well, I talked to all of our younger running backs about the fact that you're really lucky in that you have somebody like Connor Lambert who is going to show you how to do it, not only on the field, but, Connor was so good off the field and getting in the weight room and trying to get better on a daily basis, even in the offseason. I think Reason has tried to emulate that. He's a very strong kid for his size, a kid who is instinctive in his running ability, sees the hole, hits the hole hard. And so I think a lot of that is the fact that Connor was so good and that he kind of saw what the possibilities were. And he didn't start, his sophomore and freshman year. And in a lot of programs, regardless of classification, offensively, he would have started. And he's a really good running back. To compare him to Connor Lambert at this point is a little bit premature, but he's in that vein, and he's vital to our success this year.
Talk to me about this Class AA field, a really loaded class, in my honest opinion. You got yourself. Wheeling Central's up there as well. You guys are the top two teams, but then after that, there's a lot of interchangeable teams there between like 3 and 16. It seems like. Give me your perspective. What stands out to you about this Class AA field?
Single A, the Class Single A field that I would say that Wheeling Central, having not been there last year, obviously is a formidable foe. We refer to them as the private school up north who took the path to least resistance. By name, but like Tug Valley, Tucker County, who we saw in the semifinals, Cameron, who we saw in the state championship, Sherman, who has a really good team. I think there's probably 6 or 8 teams that are going to be in the running for this state championship this year. I'm hoping to be one of them, but it's not easy. I think you got to stay healthy. I think you got to be playing your best football come playoff time, and then, believe it or not, the elements in West Virginia play a part. If you're a throwing team and you get on a bad field, we were up at Tucker County last year and the field was horrible, and you would have thought that they might have did a better job of trying to get that thing playable, but they were a much more throwing team than we were, and I think it went to our advantage even though we were at Tucker County. So there's a lot of variables to be involved in those type of things, but I feel like that anybody's capable of winning it. those 6-8 teams if you get on a roll and you start playing well.
I know I said AA there. With this reclassification stuff, as you all know, you kind of lose teams every now and again. So I meant single A. But kind of along that line, then we'll close with this. And I've asked every single coach I've done this program with over the last couple of weeks this question, and I want to ask you this: where we are right now in high school athletics. I know recently we've had the adoption of name, image, and likeness to these players, both high school and middle school. I know recently, within the last couple of years, we've had this transfer rule, and then back at the turn of the decade, we had reclassification going to 4 classes with sports. So just give me your perspective, where we're at now with high school athletics in 2025. Where's your head at just in regards to the complexity of it? Are you positive about the future, still iffy about it? Where's your head at?
So with regard to the transfer situation, that's a double-edged sword. I've had a couple kids transfer in. I've lost one kid to the transfer situation, and it makes it scary in that that if somebody who's not happy, maybe they're not getting the ball enough or they're not getting enough playing time, it's possible that you may lose that person. So if you develop a younger kid and maybe there's really good people in front of them, are they going to jump ship and go down the river or up the river or in somewhere else to play? With regard to NIL, we haven't, as my understanding with the SSAC, we're not supposed to have any. It's really kind of out of our hands. It has nothing to do with our school. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not really too concerned about that. The 4 classifications for us personally is a great thing because for so many years, we graduate 60 to 75 kids a graduating class. So for so many years, I felt like we were playing, the Williamstowns and the Willing Centrals and those type of people who have a much more bigger student body. Mm-hmm. And so for us in single A, it kind of leveled the playing field, we feel like. And so I know a lot of people say that West Virginia is not big enough for 4 classes, and I get what they're saying. But in my opinion, if you want to celebrate people and their accomplishments, the 4 classifications, number one, it's doing a great thing for the big schools. Schools like, say, for instance, Herbert Hoover. Herbert Hoover would have a really hard time winning a 4A state championship, but they're going to contend in AAA. For us, it does the same thing. Being in single A, I think that it's more fair, and I think that it's a good thing. So I know that there are people on the other side of that, but I'm not one of them.
One last question for you before I let you go. I wrote a column about this a couple of years ago, just about that evergreen feeling. Almost like in West Virginia, high school athletics plays such a pivotal part in just the state's identity, as you all know. You're a guy that came from Man. You know the background. You've been to Logan before. You're here at Wahama. You get it. You understand it. And from your perspective, do you think with what's been happening with high school athletics here in West Virginia, do you think it's kind of losing that evergreen feeling, like that magic almost, or what's your thoughts on that?
I think that it could. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's where we are right now, but I think what we're trending to or what you could see in the future, I think that could happen. Mm-hmm. It's concerning. It's our society. It's not just a high school football thing. It's our society in general. If you look at the college game today and the things that they're battling, I feel like that it's something that I hope it never does. I hope what you're talking about and that hometown thing never goes away. Is it possible? It is possible, but we're a rural state and we're a traditional state and we're traditionalists, I think, and I think that is something that we will fight, and I hope smarter heads prevail in that situation.
Well, Coach, good luck to you the remainder of the season. Hopefully we get to see you guys again down in Charleston, and wish you guys nothing but the best moving forward.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
As the head football coach of the Wahama White Falcons, head coach James Toth, be sure to check out our website from now until the end of the high school football season by going to our website, wvgazettemail.com. Follow us on Twitter at GazMail Sports, that's Gaz Mail Sports, and be sure to follow us on Facebook at HD Media Sports.